this time on mega shippers. In one of China's biggest docks, 6 massive specialist container cranes are destined for the shipping port of Miami, 18,500 kilometers away, with just 3 days for loading.
If we don't load these 2 before dark, we cannot sail tomorrow.
In Greenock, Scotland, marine pilot John Teal risks damaging a client's ferry when he has to squeeze its 17-metre width through a 20-metre lock entrance.
We go through a very narrow gap. It could be quite catastrophic, really, and cause a lot of damage to the ship.
And on England's south coast, severe weather delays mean Robin Merry has just 4 hours to move 1,600 tons of sand to the Channel Islands.
So we're trying to get as much of the cargo onto the ship as we can. Quite simply, they paid for it. They want it on the other side of the channel.
Around the world,
We are going in. Let's go.
there's a hidden army of workers
Things can go wrong really, really fast.
who, in the face of danger and turbulent times, work in all weathers, day and night, to deliver no matter what.
Stop.
Step into the $6 trillion world of heavy logistics. Meet the people for who no load is too heavy,
Anything up in the air, it wants to come down.
no item too big,
It's a case of demolition, destruction, and make it happen.
and no route too difficult.
The more that I get off, the less stress that I have.
An industry dedicated to one common goal:
Keep it coming, mate. Keep it coming.
keeping the planet moving by land, air, and sea. Meet the mega shippers. The Port of Miami in Florida is the largest passenger port in the world and one of the largest cargo ports in the United States. Mooring around 2,500 vessels a year, the port processes 7.42 million tons of cargo. But after years of planning and a steady increase in human cargo on cruise ships, the port is now looking to expand.
This project really came to life really about 2 years ago, is when we started getting the first glimpse of, hey, we actually are going to be moving forward with the project. When you're densifying operation, essentially you're actually getting more containers into the current footprint within a container space.
To increase their cargo capacity, the terminal is undergoing a $38 million redevelopment. And it's part of a larger $300 million passenger terminal expansion. But limited shoreline space demands innovative solutions, as Ports and Terminal Sales Director Jason Gasparic explains.
Port is undergoing a densification project, so as part of their terminal space utilization with the cruise ships and readjusting things, they have to densify their operation.
But to make the most of this limited space, they'll need to invest in some serious heavy lifting equipment, such as rubber-tired gantry cranes, known as RTGs, each one worth well over $1 million.
These cranes are not just your standard off-the-shelf container cranes. You know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, let me buy an RTG and I get it here in a few weeks. You know, this is not like Amazon or something like that, right? So each one of these cranes is actually tailored, built to customer specifications.
A rubber-tired gantry crane, RTG crane, is a mobile unit used to stack and unstack large shipping containers. With limited ground space, the only way is up, and these unique cranes provide a perfect solution. But the main manufacturer is 18,500 kilometers away in what is currently the world's biggest port, Shanghai. Transporting 6 fully assembled 25-meter high cranes halfway around the world is going to be a challenge, even by the standards of 2 of the world's busiest ports. Heavy lift shipping specialists, AAL, have been charged with the task and have provided an ocean-carrying vessel designed for exactly this job. As Senior Technical Superintendent Steve Thackeray proudly explains.
This is the AAL Newcastle. She's a final vessel of a series of 10 that we built. I was involved in the actual construction of the vessels. I lived in China for the 3 or 4 years while these were being built. So they are a little bit at heart for me, yes.
The AAL Newcastle, an A-class mega-size multi-purpose heavy lift vessel, or MPV, is one of the few vessels capable of carrying this massive cargo. And incredibly for this voyage, she will transport all 6 of these huge gantries at once.
These vessels can carry probably 99% of all cargoes, general cargoes that are available in the world. And we wanted it to trade worldwide at every port. There's no restriction on these vessels, they would work anywhere for any cargoes.
Despite Steve's confidence, the technical challenge of loading 6 brand new 25-metre-high RTGs on the deck of AAL Newcastle for an 18,500-kilometre voyage from Shanghai to Miami will test the shipping company and the vessel to their limits. In contrast, over 19,000 kilometres away is Shoreham Port. It's one of the south of England's busiest facilities, handling over 2 million tonnes of cargo a year, from food to building materials. Today, operations boss Robin Merry and his 2-man team are preparing to load 1,600 tonnes of sand.
Good morning. I hope you brought your bucket and spades with you. We've got the Shetland trader in today. She's loading sand. This is sand going off to Jersey. We're loading 2 different grades, one to 300 mil, one to 600 mil. It's a very high quality sand. One type of it will be used for land patios, another type of it will for building bricks and that.
But bad weather in the English Channel the night before has delayed the Shetland trader's arrival. With the load team trying to hit the afternoon tide, as well as a safety inspection crew fitting new lifeboats, they have 4 hours to complete the job. It's going to be a busy day.
Yeah, that looks good, mate. You're about clear there.
To get the 1,600 tonnes of sand off the dockside and into the hull, Robin will be using an 80-tonne Senebogen crane, capable of lifting 1.5 tonnes with each bucket load.
This crane costs about £1.5 million, worth every penny to us. Works in all weathers, in all conditions. So today's windy, you know. A rope crane won't be able to work in this. This crane can keep going 24/7, earning us money.
9 metres up, it's down to crane operator Kenny Feeney to safely and efficiently load the sand.
I started driving cranes, 1983. Yeah, it does become second nature. The controls become an extension of your arm, really.
But loading something as simple as sand is still challenging.
Well, for a start, it's heavy, especially with the weather we've had recently. The sand is wet, so you've got to watch you're not overloading, putting too much in the grab. It's not too bad with these cranes, because quite simply the crane just won't lift it, or it'll cut out. But with some cranes, there is the danger of pulling it over.
Obviously, wet sand is heavier, but getting it onto the vessel is only half the problem.
All right, come up down the lead line, move some sign for me, please, so I can get the crane on.
To keep the ship stable at sea, she needs to be carefully loaded.
The first mate on the ship, he's asked our crane driver to throw the cargo more to the front of the ship because the cargo's in 2 different halves. So there'd be a bulkhead in the centre of the ship, which is basically a big steel plate in the centre of the ship. This smaller grit size is going this side, and the bulk of the cargo is going to the back end of the ship. So if this cargo isn't to the front of the ship, when he sails out to the front of the harbour, it'd be like this, it'd be like going like a speedboat. So any kind of rough weather he'd get, it'd be going all up and down, so he wouldn't want any of that. So basically he's asked to get it right to the front of the ship and get it deep into the water as we can.
With crane driver Kenny strategically placing the fine sand in the bow or forward part of the vessel, Robin keeps an eye on the time and tide.
We've probably got 200 tonnes now on the ship. We've got about 5.5 hours left for the tide on this boat. So we've probably got 3.5, 4 hours to get the back of the ship done to try and get her out on the tide. So hopefully we should be on target.
Shoreham is a tidal port, with water rising from 2 to 5 metres. A lock gate keeps water at a constant depth in the inner basin, so ships can remain level for loading. But it does mean once fully loaded, they can only leave port twice a day at high tide. To speed up loading, smaller, more mobile equipment is rushed in.
There we go, little tidy up.
To get the last of the 1,400 tonnes of fine sand loaded, it will work in tandem with a hydraulic clamshell grab on the crane.
We've just called up the 30-tonne loading shovel to push up the last bit of sand into one nice pole so you can do it in one go.
Behind the wheel, Tony Hamilton.
I only have so far to reach these buckets. I'm just here to help, do what I can for him.
Nice and gentle on the shovel, not giving it a good bash. It's 30 tonne there. Lovely little job, Tone, thanks very much. Coming back in to finish up now, look, one more grab. We're nearly there. Feel the power of the bucket. Wow. And the other point about it is we want our key as clean as possible at the end of it. We've got to tidy up afterwards.
But with 300 tonnes of fine sand now on board the Shetland Trader, crane driver Kenny has spotted a problem with the 1,300 tonnes of bulk cargo still to be loaded.
The sand's not exactly in the best position. It's been delivered too far back. So it's quite awkward because I won't be able to reach there and load the boat.
It's taken 2 hours. With another 2 to go before the tide turns, it's going to be tight. The port of Taichung, remodelled in the 1990s and now the busiest foreign trade port in Jiangsu province, is just 77 kilometres along the Yangtze River from Shanghai. It deals with over 110 million tonnes of cargo and 4.35 million shipping containers every year. Today, it is the load point for a special cargo. 6 built-to-order RTGs, or rubber-tired gantries, collectively weighing in at nearly 1,000 tonnes, and they have an 18,500 kilometre journey ahead of them. Because of the size, they must be transported vertically and on deck instead of in the hold. After leaving China, their 18,500 kilometre journey eastward across the Pacific Ocean will also see them pass through the Panama Canal, before finally arriving into the port of Miami. But before the RTGs can be loaded, the Newcastle's cranes must first fill the cargo holds with other cargo, loaded on the same sailing to make full use of her cargo capacity. Then 100 metal slabs or pontoons, each weighing 11.5 tonnes, are laid on top of the deck to create an even, flat surface for the cranes to sit on. AAL Newcastle's Chief Officer Jody Lee is responsible for getting these pontoons that seal the deck in position.
We are shifting pontoons now from aft to forward, and it's taking us plenty of time because we need to use 2 cranes and hook it at the same time. So we are already a little bit behind schedule, so we are doing whatever we can now.
Due to the size and danger of moving cranes this big, it can only be done during daylight. But before that stage of the operation, the pontoons need securing on the 111-metre long weather deck. In order to hit the daylight loading window, a 60-strong team of ship's crew and stevedores will have to work 12 hours through the night.
It will be a long night.
Each section of square-metre heavy decking can withstand 15 tonnes of weight. With the hold filled with cargo, the Newcastle is fully laden below deck, making it even more critical the weight on top is distributed evenly. The following morning, all the pontoons have been secured on board the AAL Newcastle's deck. She's now ready to receive the first 2 cranes. 25 metres long, 25 metres high and 15 metres wide, each one weighs in at 135 tonnes. The Newcastle's own cranes have a lifting capacity of 700 tonnes, so the weight's not a problem. But setting up the lifting hooks to the lifting beams is time-consuming. And again, they only have 12 hours of daylight before it's dark and they must down tools. Fitting all 6 of the rubber-tired gantry cranes on board will be like assembling a giant jigsaw puzzle. Transport engineering specialist Yahya Sanusi explains.
In terms of the width, they are much wider than what we have here, so we need to do some overlapping the cargoes so that they would fit nicely on deck.
But once lowered onto the deck, this presents another challenge for Chief Officer Jody.
We must also consider stability, and for that we need to spread the cargo evenly. We have a small margin of error for this one. Small margins only will make the vessel capsize.
With 20 workers in position from the ground up, the signal is given to move the first crane on board.
Okay,
In this two, this side here.
For Newcastle's master, Andre, this is a tense time.
This is a quite big piece, and it's very difficult to maneuver such a cargo. And you can see now it's also windy, and wind can affect this operation as well.
With the wind picking up, keeping the load stable on deck is critical. It takes 2 cranes to lift each RTG. In a carefully orchestrated lift, the 135-ton weight is carefully balanced between the 2 onboard cranes. As once at sea, any error will be disastrous.
If the stability is not good enough, the ship will turn one side and the cargo would probably drop.
Greenock, west of Glasgow, Scotland. A local ferry nicknamed the Heb Isles has come into port. As a vital transport vessel for passengers and supplies to the Isle of Islay, she's crucial for keeping the local economy afloat. But after 35,000 miles at sea, she's now in urgent need of repair. Captain Stuart Griffin must move Heb Isles to the adjoining dry dock. Once drained of seawater, work can begin. The sooner, the better. In the meantime, people and supplies moving between Kennaicraig on the mainland and the small island of Islay will have to survive on a reduced service.
We play a massive role in the Lifeline service because everything that goes onto the island has to come through us. The impact of us being off service is huge to the local economy, to the people who live on the islands as well. So we do try and get the ships back into service as soon as we can.
The 3,000-ton ship is powered by 2 engines and manoeuvred by 4 thrusters, 2 at the bow and stern. But Heb Isles is 1 engine down, and without one of its bow thrusters, she has little power and no steering.
Yeah, I'm getting you now, mate.
Everybody will be in a probably heightened state of alertness, but that is normal for the bridge team and engineering teams, and everybody knows if something goes wrong, what they need to do. This is the first time I've taken the vessel into dry dock as captain. I've taken it out before, but never taken it in, and never with only one of my 2 engines available.
2 tugboats with Rolls-Royce engines and 10,000 horsepower will be doing the hard graft. Marine pilot John Teal is responsible for coordinating both tugs.
The way I work it with the tugs is I'll say, can I have a check to the north or the south just to keep us off the wall. If the tug's not doing it quick enough, then we can give her a little kick with a roll. So it's quite a challenging and difficult manoeuvre to take her through into the dry dock. We go through a very narrow gap. Okay, Garble, Clyde, Billy, you happy for us to start going? So whenever you like, we can start letting go, Captain.
Yeah, I'm happy. That's up and running.
Everything up and running. Very good.
The operation needs to be a perfect coordination between the captain's control of the one remaining bow thruster and careful pulling from the tugboats.
Okay, just minimum on both, please, Terry. Start going back, and George, if you could just up your power.
First, they must manoeuvre their hebiles through a narrow gap.
Terry, if you could ease down to just clutching them out, minimum on one, please.
All right, just minimum on one.
Halfway through the opening, the ship is veering to the left. Stuart quickly powers the bow thruster to avoid collision with the edge.
On the starboard side.
We can keep it coming to port a little bit though.
Yeah, that's me clear now, John.
Aye, okay.
Safely through the passage, the hebiles is positioned and ready to approach the dry dock.
We'll just keep it nice and close to the wall here, Captain, just so I know I've got plenty of space on the prop.
Do you need me to do anything with the rudder?
No, it should be fine, yeah.
I'm at 10 metres to go, John, then I'm clear to work.
But taking a 3,000-ton, 17-metre wide ferry through a 20-metre gap with just one engine will take some precision steering.
I'm going to bring her across using the bow thruster, but I'll get you to stop her, and then I'll ask you just to stand by on the starboard side for a check.
As Stuart approaches the entrance, it's down to how well he can control the remaining bow thruster to keep the ship straight and avoid slamming into the dry dock.
Got a wee bit more room here when we go into the dry dock.
Even a small bump against the dock could cause serious damage to the hull. Once the ferry is in the gap, it's pulled through with mooring ropes on both sides.
So, McLean, we're just going to stop the bow thruster there, if you're happy.
Got the engine there then, Captain.
Okay, yeah. That's a stop.
Wire ropes are tightened from the ship to the shore, so there's no possibility of movement. The hebiles must now be placed perfectly on top of a series of blocks at the bottom of the dry dock, which will serve to keep her upright when the water is drained out.
If we miss the blocks, it could be quite catastrophic, really, and cause a lot of damage to the ship.
Until the dry dock is emptied, they won't know whether the ship is in its correct position. The port of Taichung, China. 6 brand new rubber-tired gantry cranes used for lifting shipping containers are due to set sail for Miami, 18,500 kilometers away, in 2 days' time. For transport engineering specialist Yahya Sanusi, this is the culmination of months of work.
These cargoes are very big in dimension, and it took about 2,000 hours of planning.
All 6 cranes will be transported on board the heavy lift vessel, the AAL Newcastle.
Position of this one around here.
She'll be using her own cranes to lift them on board.
This one.
As each RTG is loaded on deck, the ship must be rebalanced quickly. Monitoring the ship's tilt, known as the list from the shore, is Chief Officer Jody Lee.
Now you can see it's up, and the vessel is upright.
The first crane is always the hardest.
The next one would be a little bit faster. We have all the rigging done, so we just have to slide in and lift. So it will be faster than the previous one.
With the initial teething troubles sorted, it's time to start loading the second crane. Meticulous planning means the RTGs need to be perfectly positioned on deck to avoid any stability issues in transit. but the cranes can't place them exactly. The RTG can be independently driven, but that means a driver has to climb into the cockpit 25 meters up, while the ship's cargo and crew rely on him not making any wrong turns. This makes Yahya Sanusi very happy.
RTGs fit very nicely at the plant location. We have just loaded 2 out of 6, so I think it's not time to rest.
But with light fading fast, the loading of the remaining cranes will need to wait until the following day. But there's still work to do. The deck crew will need to work through the night to secure the first 2 cranes into cradles using hydraulic drills. There's around 45 tons of pressure on each steel clamp, making sure after welding they don't simply roll off deck.
When the vessel starts to move and the cargo is not properly secured, you know this big guy is very heavy. When it starts to move, nobody can stop it.
After a busy night, the first 2 cranes have been secured for the voyage, but 4 more have yet to be loaded. And for Jody, it's not getting any easier.
This next piece that we're going to load will be a little bit tight. We have less space to maneuver and it's becoming tricky.
The 3rd and 4th crane are brought into position. But once they're on deck, the loading crew discover a problem, as ship's master Andre explains.
There is a small problem. In order to put these 2 on board, we need these 2 gantries to move forward, but there is some railings of these cranes obstructing.
Despite the RTG's amazing maneuverability, something as small as these railings prevents them from being able to drive further down the deck to their allotted spaces. Until the 4th RTG is perfectly positioned, they won't be able to load the remaining 2 cranes. And time is not on their side.
If we don't load these 2 before dark, we cannot sail tomorrow.
Over 7,200 kilometres away in Greenock, Scotland, the ferry Hebals has made it safely into dry dock. Once the water is drained out, the true extent of repairs will be revealed. To empty 750,000 gallons from a dry dock takes 10 hours. After 4 hours, the dry dock is now safe. Stuart and the shipyard team now assess any damage and repairs needed.
So all I'm going to do is take a walk around and then just check for any deformation around the hull and just make sure the general condition's okay.
Any major damage found on Hebals could leave the population of Islay without their much-needed passenger and supply ferry to the mainland for months.
13.7.
It's down to the hull engineer to help build a picture of any corrosion that may have developed within the steel.
If you find any severe corrosion, then you have to report that to the Lloyd surveyor. He would then make a decision. You would map out how much has to come out, and it would have to be repaired before it goes anywhere.
£6,000 of paint cover the outside of the Hebals, but has it been enough to protect her hull?
Measures the thickness of the steel, cancels out this paint, measures all the thicknesses. So we got original thickness from the drawings which we use here, and then we can work out a percentage how much it can lose. So on this ship it's 30%. So on a 10mm plate it can go as low as 7mm before you have to start looking at making repairs.
While results of the test will take days to return, the crew have begun one of their bigger jobs.
So we're getting a brand new bow thruster engine, and at the moment they're starting to cut a hole in the side of the ship below the waterline.
As the engine was installed whilst the ship was being built, the only way to get it out now is to cut it out through the 2 centimetre thick steel hull. Oxyacetylene gas torches are used to create an opening just big enough. After being connected up to chains, the engine is lifted up and out. It will be transported south to England and restored before being reinstalled. And the steel plating re-welded back into place. The rudders are also being repaired. And there's extensive work to be done inside the vessel, from minor fixes to an entirely new set of cabins to be built.
Get David to drop his head and then we'll go into the steps.
For Jim Macaulay, the assistant dockmaster, time is not on their side.
Boats are only in dry dock for a certain amount of time, so everyone's got to get done as quickly as possible.
Maintenance supervisor Robert Hall has overseen many ship restorations in the port.
All the cosmetics is getting done. There's main engine works, there's a lot of mechanical works getting done. So on a scale of it, this overhaul period in the short time frame, it's major works.
And all this needs to be done in just 10 days.
The first 2 days of any docking is just pandemonium. It's all the trades, everyone's trying to start their jobs. Everyone's falling over each other just always at the beginning of a docking because everyone wants just to get in amongst it. We're pretty much against the clock.
Shoreham Port on the English Channel. Head of Operations Robin Merry is the man in charge of loading 1,600 tonnes of quality sand bound for building projects in the Channel Islands.
What we're trying to do here is we're trying to get as much of the cargo onto the ship as we can. Quite simply, they paid for it. They want it on the other side of the channel.
But with the bulk of the cargo, 1,300 tonnes of coarser brick sand still to be loaded before they miss the tide, crane operator Kenny isn't confident.
They're trying to get this boat out for 1 o'clock, but they also want, after the sand's finished, to get 2 life rafts to change out.
The odds are against them. Not only is the crane in the wrong position on the quayside to reach the sand, unless they load the life rafts carefully, there could be an explosive outcome.
These are the life rafts we're going to put on side of the ship. They don't look like so at the moment, do they? But they've got this explosive device inside them. When they're in a storm, they give that a pull, fingers in the ears, and bang, off it goes. And it lands behind them in the sea. It's one of them ones with the roofs on top and a zip on them. So they jump in the sea when it be like choppy, and then they go inside the life raft and zip themselves up safely.
In the event of an emergency evacuation, they will inflate in 20 seconds and are capable of carrying 10 people. So these lightweight lifesavers need annual servicing and careful loading.
As we're lifting them, we're trying not to catch this bit round the end of the crane, otherwise it might go pop.
People have survived at sea in these for over 3 months, but hopefully in the English Channel, it won't come to that. Meanwhile, shovel driver Tony and crane operator Kenny have come up with a plan.
I'll need to get the front load and shovel to come up and start pushing that towards me because I won't be able to reach there.
We're going to have to do quite a lot of pushing this end to bring it in because we're not going to be able to move the ship up with this wind. So as he grabs it, you might have to knock it in on him, yeah? But we'll see as we go, right? Okay? See you, baby. Cheers, mate. We've probably got an hour to go and we've been manhandling the cargo along the front of the quay, and now it's just about in the right spot for him to load the last bit. I'd say about an hour's work to go.
But even with the sand better positioned, the strong winds are now creating problems for Kenny.
With the weather conditions, it's not ideal going over the top of the hatches. You can see some of the spillage, some bits that are getting blown out a little bit are falling on top of the hatches.
It will all need cleaning up, which could delay the departure. But Mary is pleased with the progress.
We've got a bit of synchronisation going on now. So he'll take a bucket, then the shovel to push one. Then he'll take a bucket and the shovel to push another one. And now the cargo's in the right place for him to swing it round into the boat. It was no good over here, he couldn't reach the boat, but now it's right up where we want it. Nice bit of team play, lads working together there.
Amazingly, with 30 minutes before the tide turns, tight teamwork gets the last of the sand safely stowed. Now, they just need to load the delicate life rafts.
Got enough of it. Mind the cord. Okay, not heavy, but we just got a little bit careful with them because it does work on like a compressed air system. When you pull the cord, it goes bang. We don't want to go bang now. We're taking extra caution with them.
Although the individual raft capsules only weigh 85 kilograms,
put it nice and tight in case it does.
By wrapping them in hemp slings, they are helping prevent any accidental inflation.
Got him. Right, now hand over to the banksman. He's in charge of lift. We're back off. Well done. Take it easy up there, yeah? That's good. Nice and careful.
This is a job that can't be rushed.
This ship's going to sink. That's the crew's only way of getting off. Let's hope they don't need it. We're all done now. It went really, really well. 4.5 hours, ship fully complete, 1,600 tonne of sand on there. It's usually 100 tonne for each one of them marks, give or take. When we first started the ship, the plimsoll line there was right up here at the beginning of the ship, and as you can see now, right down there. So that's the weight of the cargo to push the ship down. We hit our schedule beautifully, we're really pleased with that, and should be out to sea within the hour.
(19,300 kilometers away on the other side of the world in Taichung, China. 4 of the specialist rubber-tired gantry RTG container lifting cranes bound for Miami are on board the AAL Newcastle. The RTGs are colossal, so big that every square metre of the AAL Newcastle's vast 3,000 square metre weather deck space has been harnessed to accommodate them. But with 2 more still to load, there's a major obstacle in their way.
In order to put these 2 on board, we need these 2 gantries to move forward, but there's some railings of these cranes obstructing.
The clearance between the 4th crane and the ship's railings is too close. The only option is to drive the RTG to the very edge of the ship. Even taking the RTG's exceptional maneuverability into account, a 25-metre tall crane less than 5 centimetres from the edge of the vessel is nail-biting stuff. It's down to the expertise of the drivers to stop this $1.6 million crane toppling into the Yangtze River. With deck space at a premium and the 3rd and 4th crane already loaded, the only way to try to manoeuvre around the railings is to drive both RTGs simultaneously as their wheels are overlapping. For Chief Officer Jody Lee, this is as tough as it gets.
Right now, these cranes, they move around half meter to the starboard side, and the other one, they also move to the starboard side half meter, but it was a close call. You have only 300 centimeters clearance to the edge, and here also we have 200 centimeter clearance, so it was a really tough call maneuver.
After just clearing the railings, the RTGs make it to their correct position on deck. But with one problem solved, another emerges. It seems the repositioning of the RTGs has restricted the range and mobility of the ship's own lifting cranes. Without them, nothing else can be loaded.
You can see it's very tight, but just to be on the safe side, I will send my guy in the crane and swing it around and see if we need to move this guy or it can stay as it is now.
It seems even on a vessel this size, Jody is struggling to find enough room.
Just enough because the RTGs cannot move anymore also forward. So it's close call also.
But having resolved the railings issues and checked the crane's maneuverability, the loading of the remaining 2 RTGs can finally get underway. As the final 5th and 6th RTGs are positioned on deck, their weight shifts the ship's balance.
Right now, she takes more load on top, so she is very responsive now to every movement, like slight movement of the cranes.
Making sure the ship is properly balanced for a voyage is critical.
The ship already had a big list, so now we have more time on stoppages just to take the ballast, to transfer the water, just to keep the vessel upright.
But once Jody's confident the RTGs are perfectly positioned and the ship is level, the crew will work through the night, securing the cranes to the deck. Any movement during the voyage would be catastrophic. It's the day of departure, and the deck crew have been working all night. But before Newcastle can set sail, there will be a full cargo inspection.
What we changed? We can have this 35 tonner, yeah?
With the clock counting down before Newcastle's scheduled departure, Jody is understandably concerned.
2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I'm still dealing with these guys, and I hope we can manage here. Really.
Meanwhile, on the bridge, Master Andre checks the latest weather reports for the Pacific Ocean.
So we can see here present weather conditions. Weather is not, actually it's not good at all.
But that's not his only concern.
Our center line is actually here. So when you see where is the center line, you see where is the wheelhouse.
With the RTGs blocking his view, even getting out of the harbour will present a challenge.
Even getting from this port will be very tricky because if you look at the river, you can see many vessels. It's very tricky to get out.
Just 30 minutes before their scheduled departure time, the final lashings are signed off, much to the relief of Jody.
Yes, I'm a bit worried actually if we could beat the time, but we've done it. We've done a wonderful job.
As the mooring ropes are cast off, AAL Newcastle gets underway. After being guided through the Yangtze's busy shipping lanes by 2 tugs, AAL Newcastle and her multi-million 25-metre tall cargo heads for the Pacific Ocean and her 18,500-kilometre voyage to Miami, Florida. (7,214 kilometres away in Greenock, Scotland. 10 days of renovation work on Heb Isles is complete. Adam James is part of the team who'll be filling the dry dock so she can return to the Isle of Islay and her job of ferrying people and supplies to and from the mainland.
We'll start off by opening the gate a wee bit. As you'll see, it will stop soon. And that just lets the water flood in, because if you go too quickly at the start, all the keel blocks that are in the block, they'll fall over. So we'll start off slowly and work our way up. Once the water's level outside and inside the gates, and then once the boats are ready to go out, we'll open the dock gates, and the boats can either go out on their own power, be pulled out on ropes, or pulled out by tugs.
It takes 8 hours for 750,000 gallons to flood back in. A space equivalent to 80 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
OK, coming down, lads.
Health and safety advisor Charlie Conahan is aware how delicate an operation it is to refill the dry dock.
As you can see, we're flooding up the dry dock as we speak. Now, most people think that you can just open the gates and let the water come in, but when you see various designs of the gates, they're a certain angle and they use the water pressure to help seal the gates. So you can't open that because there's a horrendous pressure behind the gates. So what we have to do is we have a sluice gate system, which is a hidden tunnel under the dry dock, and we control up the water getting into the dry dock. Once we're happy with the equalise of the water on the other side of the gate, then the pressure is off, and then we can open the gate slowly.
It's not until after the sun sets the Hebiles is ready to leave dry dock. Clyde Port pilot Matt Hill is in charge of manoeuvring Hebiles.
I will work with the master to move the ship as safely as we can out of the dry dock, get the 2 tugs attached. The ship's got no propulsion today, so my liaison with the tugs is quite critical as they have to do all of the work.
It's a job that's challenging enough without having to do it at night.
I have pronounced the gangway clear and doors secured.
Yep, there.
Okay, slacken port. Slowly but surely. We're getting there, we're approaching the dock entrance.
Attached to the tugs, the rope team help guide the Hebiles through the narrow entrance.
Could you just give me a little check to the south? Just a tiny touch.
I'll check this out.
Ship's about halfway out. It's just a lot of men moving ropes around and trying to ease her back without going too fast.
In a series of small adjustments between the ship and the tugs, the vessel slowly inches towards the opening.
Yeah, we're outside the dock now. We're going to try and get the forward tug made fast, and then we can let the lines go and take her out the entrance. I never asked him to go on the port bow.
There's tension, and it's not just from the mooring lines.
Yeah, I just lost control. I'm running on the other side. We'll need the bow well up to the north.
Both the tugs have now got control of the ship, and we're just moving towards the entrance to go outside of the basin. All the lines from the shore have gone now.
The Hebiles has nearly cleared dry dock, but there's still some hazards until they are free.
It's quite blustery. The wind's gusting up to about 25 knots, which is a little bit more than was forecast. On a situation like today, where I'm pretty much outside with a dead ship and 2 tugs, everything's basically visual, and just watch how she's reacting. And you also get a bit of a feel for how she's reacting and things like that as she's moving.
For Matt, the pressure comes with the territory.
It's probably the most stressful job we do, really. It's not the biggest ship, but it's very much relying on the assistance of the tugs and the ship's crew on the lines. So this is probably one of the most difficult jobs we do, especially when it's dark and the wind's gusting like it is today.
After 40 minutes, the Hebiles is now clear of dry dock, and tomorrow will begin its sea trials before going back into active service.
You know, we were 10 days basically from docking to on-docking, so and there was a lot to cram in between. A hell of a lot of man hours went into it, day shifts, night shifts. All being well, she'll be out in sea trials in the next few days.